listeners beware, during the recording of this episode, which much of it was part of the live streaming event of 2021, there were some technical problems, and we did various different things to get through it. Adam Burns jumped in and put our voices on different places, and anyway, we did soldier on, and we recorded a couple of extra bits once the show had finished, because by the time it was sorted out, we didn't get a full hour. So yeah, what's coming up next? Please forgive any hiccups during the show. We'll hopefully skirt over them quickly, and the podcast version you hear will probably be a bit more like what we were hoping it would be like. But anyway, we were the first show on Saturday, and the first show of the day always has problems, because there's always technical problems at the start of a day. So yes, so I think this is our fourth year of doing being part of the live streaming event. I think around the time we started, there was there was a live stream. We were a bit too new a show to be part of the 2016 show, but we've done 17, 18, 19, 20, and just a minute, that means this might be our fifth. I can't even. But we didn't do six. Oh, I guess we've already run just over 5 years, but we cover six. I'll have to go and check. This could be our fifth year. Oh dear, you see, even this interlinking bit is hopeless and broken. And just listen to the episode. Run the theme music. Hello, listeners. It's Nick and I. We haven't started yet, but we're about to start.
Yes, we're hiding behind.
I just thought I'd start recording. I've got one ear. I'm sorry if I don't speak continually. I'll probably edit half this out anyway.
Is it Steve continually? Yeah.
I'm just keeping, because this is the first year we have been the first show on the second day. So,
Shucks.
I think we're going to be talking about old TV, which
excellent,
which is good. But they're playing the bumper, so I've got to get ready to go on. Let's hope this works. I've started it. Right. Hello. Oh, hello. Can you hear me? Testing 1 2 3. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat room. We're live from London. No, we're not. We're not in London at all. We're the UK. We've gone off again. I didn't disconnect. Hello. I've dropped off the street. Hello? I don't know. Hello. Oh, they can still hear me on Twitch. Hello. Can you hear me now? Oh, I can hear what happened. I can hear what I said ages ago. What's going on? Hello. I'm on now, apparently. Good. Wait. Oh, no. It's kicked back to the stream. I don't know what's going on at the moment. Hello. It says I'm on the stream. But I'm not hearing me. Can you hear me?
Darling, it's the Shy Life podcast.
But it's a positive thing. 400. A highlight of the Shy Life.
You won't find a cast of characters like this everywhere.
Hello, Paul.
Delicious.
This particular episode of the Shy Life is a little more abstract than usual.
Okay, looks like the hairy guy is ready to record. 3, 2, 1.
Go Shy Yeti.
Oh, I hope he hasn't found out my secret. Do you think he has?
Hello. Well, I'll keep on talking and hope we stay on. Talk. Yes, I'll talk. It's gone again. I'm not sure if it's the internet. But I mean, the website's working fine.
Would you like me to check and see if the router's all right?
You can go and have a look and see.
Yeah, it seems to be all right. It's sometimes it goes red at the end. If it's gone wrong.
Yeah, the internet is supposed to be okay, so I'm not sure. Right. Well, we shall continue, and well, my special guest this episode is Nick Goodman.
Hello.
And yes, we're going to be talking about old TV this episode.
One of our favourite subjects.
Yeah. Whether or not you'll be hearing this on the stream, I'm not sure, but we'll keep on going and hope that it sorts itself out. But typical that worked perfectly fine when I did the test the other day, but there we go.
It's time for my old buddy, old pal from across the channel, across the pond, Paul Chandler, the Shy Yeti.
He's not that shy. Oh, it's the Shy Life podcast. Yeah.
All I wanted was a pie.
And then I hatched out of an egg. Okay, bring the mic over. He's ready to record.
It's the quiet ones you've got to watch, you know.
Is it metaphorical? Is it deep? Is it deep?
Boy, he's not all that shy, is right.
Blimey, Governor. It's the Shy Life podcast.
If you thought that was bad, just listen to this.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to begin.
It's the Shy Life podcast.
He's positively glowing.
I will just keep on. I will just keep on going. We do have Yeti Uncle John and Cromitty here to do a little quiz, but one of the thing that we're mostly going to be talking about this episode is going to be the listeners of the show, regular listeners of the show will know that we do talk a lot about old TV, and recently we've been talking about an old magazine called Look-In that it ran from early 1970s to mid-90s, but we tend to talk about the 70s editions of the magazine because it's the era that both Nick and I used to subscribe at slightly different times to this particular magazine. Now, I'm just going to, as I say, we're still having technical issues, so I'm just going to I'm just going to keep on going on and hope you hear at least some of it. But I shall just type in the chat room. Going to keep on keeping on and hope you get to hear some of it. Yes. Adam is offering another solution that we could connect on Zoom. Not quite sure how that's going to work, so I shall I shall keep watching the chat room and see what is suggested. But yes. So as I say, we're gonna keep on keeping on. And yes, what I was saying is that so Look-In magazine. A month or so ago, I went on eBay and I bought just a job lot of about 6 or 7 editions of Look-In magazine from 1978. And I don't know what they are. I haven't opened them yet. I've got them here in a plastic container.
And the exciting thing is, at some point in time, I'd own them all. Because I was.
So you probably know.
78 was like almost slap bang in the middle of my time in Look-In. I bought every issue from sort of August 75 to February 80 when they first came out. Yeah. And kept them all for a while, and as kids do, they don't really look after them all that well. So I actually
I don't know what happened to any of my early 80s.
No,
Anyway, I'm going to tear open this if I can. I don't have any fingernails.
And the winner is...
we might be going on to Zoom. I'm not sure how this. I'm not sure how this all works, but open launch meeting. Right. Join with video. Do you want video? Don't know if you want video. I guess you can have video. You only get one of us if you get video. We weren't expecting this. So, so yes, I'm about to tear this package open. What's going on, Paul? Oh yeah, that's going to work well on video, isn't it? Yeah, that's going to join the computer audio. Right. Stop video. There we go. Yes, I think it's probably best that we don't have video for this, just because some of my guests we might expose some of the truths behind the myths.
Well, also the last thing you want is the exposed. Yes, yeah.
Oh, well, yes, I can understand that. Yes, it's fair enough. You're fair enough, Paul. It's probably a good thing, but you need to get back to the chat room, Paul. I probably do. Yes, we ought to get back to the chat room. So hopefully you can hear me now. Been rescued by Adam. So as a quick recap, we're going to be talking about old TV. We've got these magazines, look-in magazines from 1978, which I bought on eBay, and we're going to discuss some of the TV shows they talk about. I'm midway through tearing open the.
I can vouch for that.
Yes, that's making sure I'm in the right chat room now. Here we go.
Woman's out.
Yeah, I've been in the wrong. I hope you can hear me now. Anyway. Right. Oh. So I'm telling you. Oh dear, they've been in this horrible plastic bag for the last.
Oh.
Right.
Oh wow.
Hello, I've got more than I thought. I've got 1978. I've got number 6, number 9, number 17, number 23, number 24, number 29, number 30, number 34, number 35, number 36. That's an ABBA cover.
Yes, ABBA, regular ABBA covers.
37, 38, and 43, which has got Blondie on.
I remember all of those covers very well. It takes me right back.
Well, we can't talk about all of these, obviously, but is there a particular edition you'd like?
No, anyone that's going.
Would you like The Man from Atlantis? Or if I can get the chat room, I can say some of the. If we know the chat room is definitely hearing us, then we can. Okay. We've got a problem. Yeah. Technical issues. I'm going to take a drink.
Until then, here's some music.
Yeah, do you want to sing, Nick? We'll get the podcast version of this episode anyway.
Heads and tails, heads and tails, heads and tails. Heads and tails and whiskers on the news. Heads and tails, we're cool. Whiskers on the nose?
You are?
Must have been an animal that they're singing about.
Are you singing?
Yes, Heads and Tails, the old children's TV
Derek
show.
Griffiths.
Derek Griffiths, yes. Whiskers on the nose? Goodness no. It must be some kind of furry animal.
Yeah, we should go for an American, one of the ones with an American cover. So I might give you Bionic Woman.
Oh, I've waited years for people to say
I
that.
might have Blondie. I'll have Blondie. I might have both.
Yeah.
Try the famous Fiver on the cover twice in this.
That Gary Russell gets it everywhere.
Well, we could just keep on going because we've still got our time slot. We're going to have to come off. So the first editions we're going to sort of look at these at the same time and compare.
But
compare strips.
Compare these strips.
This is so racy.
I know. It's that's a bit later on, isn't it?
That's the next show. They'll be much more sexy than we are.
They'll be comparing strips.
Not that you're not sexy. Not that we're not terribly sexy, but it's just
you're terribly sexy.
You speak for yourself, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you, Uncle John. Please. Well, actually, we've both got Blondie, but you've got Bionic Woman with Blondie.
Oh, darling.
And I've got just Blondie.
Oh, isn't she beautiful? I've got Blondie and Bionic Woman. How's that for a result?
Yeah. So, what month's your edition from?
Mine is week ending the 24th of June, 1978.
Mine's 21st of October, 1978.
Oh, Lindsay Debbie Harry. And it was only 10p in those days. Even I could afford it.
I don't know where Toby Lease were vanished as well. Maybe the whole of the UK has been swept away. So yes, right. Let's compare. So go on. Tell us what you've got. How did your audition start? What TV shows are on the cover? Well, on the
cover tonight. As I say, again, like all the 78 ones, I did once own this. So there go. And I have to say, because anyone who hasn't heard our look-in episodes, I have to say, always what makes me feel most nostalgic is the artwork.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they really were gorgeous pictures. And we've got Lindsay Wagner in action as the Bionic Woman, and we have a demure Debbie Harry.
Was 78 the year we got Bionic Woman over here?
No, we had Bionic Woman from 76 onwards.
Oh, so this is maybe the start of a new season.
Well, yeah, I almost certainly, because they usually stuck her on, or they used Steve Austin. They stuck on if they were starting a new adventure in the magazine. So she would be starting. I think I remember the story that she's starting as well, but we'll come to that a bit later.
On the front cover of mine, I've got Debbie Harry again, but I've got the 5 band members. It looks like it's sort of...
when's yours from?
Mine's from October 1978.
Literally when I just left home.
I think it's...
we're left...
yeah. It says win their new LP, which would probably be...
Heart of Glass. With the one with the Heart of Glass in it.
Yeah. We've also got picture strips with the famous 5. Meet the Smurfs. The $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman are also in this.
I think Meet the Smurfs might be a bit difficult. They were cartoon characters.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
I think that's a competition that is somewhat wanting.
We might find out as we go on. I think we're being moved over to Discord. Oh, we can be heard. Well. Just as a recap, we're currently looking through 1978 editions of Look-In, and both of them have Blondie on the front cover. And I think we're about to discuss Benny Hill. So we're really cutting edge here, guys.
Actually, before we discuss Benny Hill, I have to say, in the inside cover, there's an advert for Texan bars.
Oh, Texan bar.
Which were very chewy, very long, and very tasty.
Really?
And were brought back very briefly in the noughties, albeit in a smaller form. But
we did an
there was a cowboy.
We did an episode where we talked about chocolate bars.
We did, yes.
That
was one tasty episode, I tell you.
I've got a fascinating fact, but it's about football, so I don't think either is that fascinating.
No.
So, I just type in the chat room for a second. I'm putting we're not being silent here. You're just not hearing us. Just not hearing us. Dear. Well, at least we get remembered. This is the problem with being the first show on the second day. I got Benny Hill. Have you got Benny Hill?
I have Benny Hill. Yes, Benny ran. I have a feeling in my bones that Benny was still there when I left in '80. I think he was there when I signed up in 1975, and he was the Benny Hill page. Basically, it was a page strip, which is all about a comedy strip, as if you didn't know, which is basically features Benny in the guise of one of his relatives, and all his relatives look exactly like him, so they have an angle on it. And in this one, he's Bob the TV shop man who spends all his time watching telly. So it's a nice little. They're quite well drawn as well, and they're quite funny. They're not overly facetious, but
sure. Apparently, Nick, can you move? Is it possible for you to come and sit the same side? Like,
yeah,
Nick?
sure.
Because you're not being heard very well, and I know this is not a problem that the podcast listeners of this episode will hear, but they're probably better if you're around this side now.
Side by side for the first time in months.
Well, that's very kind. That's very good. We're being offered 5 more minutes for by the next show. Are you, only if you're sure. We can always. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We may not need it. We'll let you know. Thank you very much. Oh, I've got DM. We've got messages in the DM. No, it's Adam's got messages in his DM.
Crumb's DM.
Benny Hill's dressing up like a cowboy in my edition.
Well, he's his relative.
Oh, he's his relative. Chester. Sorry. Okay. This. Oh, cousin Ernie.
It's always a cousin that.
Yeah.
They have a different cousin each week.
Well, next we've got Stu Pot's news desk. Stu Pot was a DJ on loads of things in the 70s. It's probably. Oh, look. That what do you call that? The
neon logo.
It's the same logo they use in Doctor Who about 2 years later. Sorry, we just know this is the sort of thing that Toppy would be very excited about. Although I probably said the wrong thing because there's fonts and there's anyway. Toppy knows all about this. He's the expert. So I've got a letter here from. This is only. How many years is it since 1978?
43.
43 years ago, Kerry Farmer from Redditch in Worcestershire wrote to Stu Pot's news desk, and she said, "My happy holiday was in Bognor Regis. My dad went into a shop with me, and when he went to blow his nose, he pulled a pair of my mum's knickers out of his pocket. He put them in there, thinking that they were one of his handkerchiefs." Dear, oh dear. It's getting quite racy. I told you we'd be racing.
Well, yeah, we're out racing the other.
Yeah, this was 43 years ago. She's probably not missed them yet. What's happening on your
I also have Stu Pot.
You have letters.
As I say, Stu Pot, we did meet him at an event about 10 years ago, and me and my missus went to his funeral in Bournemouth, which nice guy. Anyway, yes, they've got a bit from Yeti'S, which was the Saturday morning TV show, which had a phrase called "dying fly," which said you send away for presumably how to do it, which is on the KTEL label. I think there's an LP about it. Elsewhere, there's a lookalike. They reckon the gopher from the Muppets looks like Bamba Gascoigne, but I'm not convinced by that.
I'm not sure that Bamba Gascoigne is a name that which will travel across the pond.
No, it won't. There was a intellectual program called University Challenge,
a quiz show,
bespectacled boffin called Bamba Gascoigne. Anybody who's seen the young ones? Bamba Gascoigne is sent up by Griff Rhys-Jones in the episode Bambi.
Now I think because again, Griff Rhys-Jones is probably a name that's also not going to. Let me see what albums of the week we've got. Frankie Valli. Frankie Valli, thanks to his Grease.
Grease was in the charts at the time.
We've got the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the movie soundtrack, the one that had the Bee Gees in, and we've got with Peter Frampton. We've also got some new Thin Lizzy album that's just come out. I don't know if Thin Lizzy ever had any hits in America, possibly. Somebody's, I don't know if it's somebody's dad or it's, oh no, it's not. It's there's a picture of the $6 million man, and at that time the Saint, program that Saint had just started, and apparently he was running like the $6 Million Man. You can get a pen pal as well.
Oh yes,
Robert Griffiths from 24 Rockingham Terrace.
In Watkins 98. That's a very old Danby pen pal.
And that's the address, 98 Second Avenue. No, it's not a 98 road.
Before we move on, there's two more things I'd like to mention. There's a fan club news which is interesting. It's got various fan clubs people can join, and one of which is the Doctor Who Appreciation Society. 2 years before I joined it. But there's another thing on the bookshelf that mentions a Star Wars storybook.
Yeah.
Now this really does bring back memories, because I bought this. It wasn't I think it was a rushed book because the glue wasn't very good. It was always falling to pieces. But it was very lavish, and obviously the kids nowadays, Star Wars has always been there. But with this, I remember so well. It was absolutely brand spanking new, and this one is really a game changer for me at school, because I brought it with me to school, and people that were beating you up on Friday were your best mates and wanted to borrow it every 5 minutes on Monday. So it really was. It did make you. It made me a few friends, all for the wrong reasons. But there we go.
I think the next page of our look-ins aren't very interesting to us. It's all about football on mine.
It's all about it's always a traditional on the ball with.
I don't think anybody even in the UK would have heard of Steve Williams. We've got a lovely picture of him. There's some people out there in PRIDE48 who might appreciate his handsomeness.
But no, I've never been interested in football, I must admit.
I can assure you. Well, we're being accused of not talking. We are talking. Probably
nothing I've ever been.
Probably more tech props. We are. Something is occurring this end, I can show. Oh, you can hear me now. Great. Oh, I've just wrote Greta. Not oh dear. So yes, we're going to skip the football page.
Yes.
My next page is the $6 Million Man.
Oh, I remember that story.
Have you got the $6 Million Man?
I have the $6 Million Man. I have this story too.
It's in colour as well.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
He was always in colour.
He's running. Was it? Well, I didn't know this. You're the expert. The going gets hard for Steve and the Professor. Well.
That was a supernaturally story. It really was quite. It entered into things that the $6 Million Man didn't usually do. Resurrected demons and things. That was really, really quite an exciting story, quite ambitious.
And what's your?
Mine is the dear old toy maker. This is a recurring. In 1976, there had been a very, very long adventure with the toy maker, which is like a deformed professor type, Laszlo Chernutz, very memorable villain. This is real. Really, and
would this have been a character that was on a TV episode, or like my one, and totally different,
totally
standalone?
He was a total one for the strip. But he came back in the summer of '78, and in another story of getting his revenge on the $6 Million Man. And he had an android son, who kind of was going after Steve and pretending to be his son.
A bit like Robot Big Fatty. Big Fatty's got a robot.
Right. And in this one, I have to say, Martin Asprey was a fabulous artist. The detail he puts in these things, and very dramatic. All the sort of the big hands, and I loved all that stuff when I was a kid. And Clarence, who's this android. He gets his head pulled off in this because the toy maker makes adjustments. But he was a super character. I would have loved to have seen him on telly, actually, the toy maker.
Yeah, it sounds like...
He was a fantastic villain.
The $6 Million Man was kind of coming to an end by '78 on TV?
It certainly was on TV, yes. But the thing is, because of Lookin', I remember Steve Austin's picture strip adventures far more than I ever do the TV show. Bigfoot and the Death Probe. Apart from that, I couldn't tell you.
Because on the $6 Million Man, was it season 4? Does he have a moustache or a beard?
Yes, he does. Yes.
Did he ever have on the comic strip?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. About 1977, his moustache moved over to comics.
The next page, I've got Stewpot again. He's doing a word search. and there's also a young cooks club.
Yes. That rabbit thing.
It doesn't sound very nice. Quick kippered toad. Oh no, I thought it said toad.
Hey, Paul.
What was talking?
Hello.
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 Oh, I can hear.
Hello. Can you? Can your co-host come closer to your microphone?
So, yeah. Sorry.
What the chat room is saying is that when he talks, he's getting nobody can hear him, so it's very low and
sure, we're sitting sort of right next to each other now, so we're hoping we'd sorted that out. But
I'll lean forward a little bit.
Yeah. So that's the reason that they were saying that they couldn't hear you, is because when he talks, for whatever reason,
he's changed.
You're coming in loud and clear.
He's changed location now, so we're hoping.
All right.
Cool. It wasn't quick kippered toad. That would be quite horrible. It's quick kippered toast. I mean, it still involves kippers, I think. So I don't think it's a smoked herring. Yeah. I don't think I fancy that. Then we've got the World Cup winner Sabutio. I guess they wouldn't have had Sabutio in the States, because if football's not big, then they wouldn't have had a football game, like a game. So I don't know. Again, Sabutio might just be a UK type thing. What have you got on your page?
Again, we've got Stu Potts
Somebody's done your word search.
I know, the mean people. Young Cooks Club again with the rabbit thing. Crisp orange coconut cake. That sounds a bit more
better.
tasty, doesn't it?
Sounds much better.
And what's interesting on this second page is a competition which they filled in, but it never sent off. And they got something called a telejet, which seems to be a very early basic version of a video. That's an interesting little device. I've never seen one before or since, so it obviously never caught on.
Well, we're discovering new old things by the minute. I've got. Oh, what have you got? I've got the famous five next, but you've got the Man from Atlantis.
I have, yeah. So you want to tell me about the famous five?
I can. It's a great new adventure with the famous five, starting today. They're sitting around a table. Actually, the artwork's quite good on this one. There's so many characters there's at least five main characters, and so it's difficult to fit everybody in. It's quite sort of. They got. Was the dog part of the five, or was the dog plus? Or plus one? Huh?
I imagine they did count the dog. Yes.
Yeah, I was just trying to count them all. The dog's doing something. There's something about a pig. They're on the bicycles.
Well, they've got a bag to.
Doesn't look like anything much happens, to be honest. I think it finishes there. They're just saying this is perfection. Nothing could spoil it. And maybe there's some twist that I've
Well, it's not so great so far, is it?
No, there might be a twist. There might be a twist in the plot line. Go on. What have you got?
We had The Man from Atlantis. I never really watched The Man from Atlantis on the
Didn't you say
telly.
that Clash was on the same time as Doctor Who?
Yes, it did. That's probably why I didn't watch it. But yes, Patrick Duffy, who went on to do Dallas. Victor Buono, who was in Batman 10 years earlier, and they got a groovy ship. I didn't really. I've never really seen all those.
Was it Patrick Duffy who emerged from the shower?
Yes.
Well, yeah, because he's always got his top off and wearing his swimming trunks in The Man from Atlantis.
Yes,
so there might be some connection. Maybe it wasn't. Bobby that stepped out of the shower. Maybe it was the Man from Atlantis.
The Man from Atlantis.
So maybe those later. So watch those later series of Dallas with that in mind. Maybe
he's got webbed feet.
He's got webbed feet. Yeah. I've got the Smurfs next. What have you got? Oh, you've got that advert for Sabutio.
Sabutio, yes. Blue.
What page are you on? 14.
I'm on 14. Yes.
I wasn't sure whether somebody had taken out a poster out of this magazine. So the Smurfs, they just seem to be counting, going around in. It's much too complicated for me. They're walking around a hole. It's a trick. He's trying to bamboozle another Smurf, and then he pushes him down the hole. and now he's at the end of the strip. He's got 28 Smurfs down the hole.
Dark.
It's pretty dark, yeah.
I wonder why does he want? They're going to be furious when they get out again.
Yeah, I mean, very bizarre. So
we have Pop Quest, which is presumably some sort of.
Somebody's put, I believe, in the chat room. But after this episode, I don't know what relates to anything. We're living in our own little bubble here.
Yeah, he's even got a Yeti. He's even put a Yeti on there.
Oh, maybe it is me. I don't even recognise myself. I thought, is that me? You keep talking, Nick. I'll type.
Oh right, yeah. We've got various little posters and T-shirts you can buy. Anything from little Jimmy Osmond to John Travolta.
I've got an advert. 12 copies of Parallel Lines by Blondie must be one. That is the new album. That's a really good album. It's a favourite. I didn't know it. I wouldn't have known it in 1978, but I own it in various different forms now. And there's also advert for the Look In Television album with ABBA on the cover, and a few other different people.
Oh yes, that's what I have for Christmas.
Yeah, the Star Trek. Star Wars, Fonz, Mickey Mouse, $6 Million Man, and the older gay guy show says, Yeti, maybe you need a bit of manscaping. You look way too hairy. No, I don't believe in manscaping.
Where is the microphone now? I seem to be having.
Well, the thing is, I can't understand it because we're sitting exactly.
We're right on top of
each other. If I'm being picked up, then you should be being picked up. So
I should be so lucky.
I don't know. I can't explain it.
We cannot hear him. I'm talking as loud as I can.
I can't explain it. We are literally on top of one another.
Maybe it has a filter for straight guys.
although not literally. Literally. So many things have happened.
I can get quite paranoid about this.
On top of one another, yeah. Yeah, we've moved around the room and been in different.
Let's see if we can get it a bit more central.
We've been on Zoom. We've been on. Well, usually this, we're recording. It sort of picks up Dealey meowing in the next room. So I'm not sure. I've got How the West Was Won next.
Oh yes.
What have you got?
I have Logan's Run, the TV series. Very distinctive artwork. I rather liked that.
Apparently, you're great now. We moved.
Well, you moved it more central.
We moved, but only by about
a centimetre.
Oh, I can't type anymore.
Yes.
We moved it by about a centimetre. If that. So I really don't know. It's made a massive difference apparently. Even though. Anyway, keep talking. Logan's Run.
Logan's Run, yeah. I mean, I used to watch the series.
Oh, right.
And a very distinctive style, a bit different from any other I've saw. And it gave it a very distinctive atmosphere as well. And I think they were good shows. They're good strips. Don't think it lasted beyond 78, but it's very good. So I remember this story, but I can't remember what part of the story it was now. But
so I've got How the West Was Won. I don't know anything about it.
It was a cowboy series.
That's all I can.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to talk about that very much.
Oh, thank you, Adam. Most kind.
Adam spent time over in the UK.
Hey.
And he's been over more recently. We actually met up.
Nice.
So I've got. I think we're nearly. Oh no, we're not. I've got some about Jerry Anderson's Star Cruiser. Jerry Anderson did Thunderbirds, but I'm not sure what this has.
Star Cruiser, yes, that had been running for about a couple of years. And
but only it's not that wasn't.
In fact, I based when I was doing my series at the time. I based a robot on a design of a robot in that. So I can't remember the details about it, but they like any self-respecting Jerry Anderson program. It kind of.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. It was very well designed hardware.
But was it fiction or was it?
Oh yes, most definitely.
I've never heard. But
I don't think they based it on a real robot.
No, but I've never heard of Star Cruiser.
No, it was never on television. It's something for the strip. He used to write a little about a year before. He used to write a little column, but he seems to have disappeared. I've
got a quiz on the next page, but a lot of it's a visual quiz. But it says, "What is the title of Walt Disney's latest film release?" Which at the time, let me look at I have to turn the magazine upside down. It was The Cat from Outer Space. But talking of quizzes, we're nearly done here. What we'll probably do is record after the show finishes. We'll probably record. What we were going to do was talk about two lots of magazines. We'll do another. We'll do another bit of recording to add to this.
Yeah.
Off air, but we have got. I don't want to cancel poor Yeti Uncle John and Comedy with their quiz, so we will move on to that quite soon. But what have you got on your next page?
The next page.
You've got.
Watch Out for Breakers, which is a series I don't remember at all. One show entirely devoted to one group a week.
One like a pop group.
Yes. Smaller fry, I think, because we've got Child, which I didn't think was still there. It was still
a band called Child.
Jim and Edie.
Never heard of them.
Rosetta Stone, Alfalfa.
Oh dear, these are very
Blue.
They're not bands. They're not
the Pleasers.
I've never heard of any of these bands.
I think they probably needed this show to launch them.
I'm going back into colour now. I've got the Bionic Woman. She's tackling an elephant.
Wow.
Almost literally, I'd say.
She's assaulting the poor jumbo. Look at that.
She's jumping around. She's in Africa to investigate the mysterious the Cat from Outer Space. I was in Alaska that summer with our theatre that played the movie. I ended up seeing that stinker 5 times. Because
I went to see that. Roddy McDowall was in that.
Yeah.
I remember going to see it in 1979 and having chips in the Queen Elizabeth Gardens afterwards with Mum. But I suppose I liked cats, and it wasn't a terribly good film. But
apparently, back to the Bionic Woman, Jamie has no sooner straightened a bent helicopter rotor than the craft is threatened by a maddened bull elephant. What does the bull elephant care about her straightening a... Maybe it was... anyway.
Maybe it's a very OCD jumbo.
I'm not sure. You've got Bionic Woman. What's she doing in yours?
Woman. I have to say with that one, it's a very rare Bionic Woman story, and I don't actually remember it.
All right.
I do remember, however, this one, which is like a... And then there were 5 kind of murder mystery where she goes to a creepy old house and somebody that's got inheritance and the relatives start dropping dead. You know the form.
Yeah.
And this one was recreated in its entirety by in the Look-In special book that they brought out in 2006, which was the best of Look-In. And I remember most of the stories. This is a super story, nice and creepy, and
full colour,
good full colour, and good old Jamie.
And they've done. It's very futuristic. The logo that they've got. They've got like to make it look like she's running. They've got about 8 or different.
Very clever
shots of her running.
I wonder if Lindsay Wagner ever read, ever got sent these, or ever had a look at them.
No, probably not.
But no, I think they do her proud.
I've got an advert for James Bond cars from Corgi, like toy cars from Corgi, and I'm going to whiz through this a bit, because I know Yeti Uncle John and. I've got something about Bionic Man, it's a joke on Bionic Man, but on the it's Botanic Man. It's a guy called David Bellamy who was into natural history,
the botanist.
I don't know what Eric and Ernie Morecambe and Wise again.
They were on the telly.
It's not just about David Bellamy. I've got Mind Your Language, which was a sitcom I don't even want to have to describe. So I'm going to go straight on.
Rather embarrassing.
I'm going to go straight to the end, and then we'll let you do the same.
What are you doing to that cat?
Is that cat? No, well, that looks like a cat that's trying to be objectionable. I've got a list of all sorts of TV shows that this magazine used to have a TV guide at the end. and believe it or not, the country was split into I don't know how many regions, lots.
We were Southern TV.
1, 2, 3, 14 different regions, and the TV was slightly different wherever you were. But I won't read any of that. We've got all of the old favourites, but I haven't got time to tell you about them. Next time on In Looking, we have Return of the Saint. But Nick, what's the last few bits of your...
we have... all the time I was getting Looking up to this point, there was a comedy series called Doctor on the Go, which I only saw one season of. They were pushing it, and suddenly only got about one season.
Yeah.
Robin Nedwell playing doctors, student doctors. And it must have been on its last adventures, because it was replaced by Mind Your Language very shortly afterwards. So I think it was as near as autumn. That must be one of the first Mind Your Languages. Mind Your Language Eye.
And then you've got the
I've got, as I say, TV Guide. This used to fascinate me because all the time I used to think, they're getting that region's getting this program and that program. Witness Space 1999, which started in 75, didn't actually get to us until August 78, or in the Saturday morning slot.
Yeah.
So, and I have to say, special mention of our show, which had a very young Susan Tully, who used to be an EastEnders.
Trevi and Lisa are asking any sign of Gus Honeybun on Westwood.
Good heavens, no.
There isn't.
That was years before Gus Honeybun. And a very quick mention to the Play People. There's something Troby might remember. They were little figures that people used to play with. I had several, and yes, I was most devoted to them.
So Cocoa Krispies, these are cereals, like breakfast cereals.
Puffer Rice, which no longer exists.
Are they Cocoa Krispies like Cocoa Pops?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Puffer Rice.
Yes.
Sugar Smacks.
Yeah, I think they're all the.
Is it our turn now? Yeti Uncle John, it is your turn. Sorry, I
thought you were reading something off the chat room.
No. It's Yeti Uncle John, the quiz. They've got 10 minutes. But I'm sorry, Paul. He was very excited. He changed his plans to be here. Well, I know, comedy. So that's looking for this bit of the episode. But we will be. When you hear this as a podcast, there'll be some more about looking.
Stay tuned.
So, are you ready to do this quiz comedy? And you two are going to be one team. You're versus the computer. You're allowed to phone a friend a couple of times if you really need to. Okay, Paul. We understand. We only have Nick as a friend. What do you mean? Comedy. Say that a little bit more tactfully, please. No. I mean, that's a good thing. Yeah. Well, these questions, 10 questions about film.
I'm not terribly good at quizzes. You might not enjoy the answer.
It's fine. It's about films. So, Question 1: Actress Sophia Loren married which film producer in 1966? Any ideas, you two? Is it? Oh, what is his name? He was Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers. Yeah, go for that if you like. So we're having bing bongs from the because we've changed from the chat room, but we'll keep on.
You sure you want to, Yeti Uncle John? You sure?
Oh, I didn't. He probably said it. I'll stick with it if he says it. Well, it might be wrong, but anyway, let's go on to question 2. Who is the yodeling cowgirl that Woody meets in Toy Story 2? Is it Jackie, Jenny, Jessie, or Joni? Any ideas, guys? Well, I can actually think. I think it was Jessie because we have a Jessie in our family, don't we, Paul? Well, we certainly did, yes. And what, that reminded you? Yes, it reminded me. I remember when the film came out, I thought, so yeah. All right. So the chat room is buzzing. Let's just see what. Yes, Daniel says Jessie. Archie Cruiser says Jessie. The older one, George in Atlanta says, the older one gets the sugar smack take on a whole new meaning. Lol, diabetes. Yes. Let's go back to the questions. Don't lose them, Paul. Spoil things. Yeah, I know. We've got 8 questions to go. Oh, you only got 8 minutes. Well, they've said we can have a few more minutes, but let's keep talking. Question 3. What is the title of the 1984 film in which Bob Hoskins plays the owner of a club where Richard Gere plays the cornet? You what? The cornet? It's a type of instrument. It's a type of instrument you blow it. I blow it? Oh, right. I have no idea. Well, you've got 2 phone a friends or talk to Nick. 2 talk to Nicks. Nick isn't. I don't know that Nick is looking that hopeful, so I don't know. You may just want to skip this one altogether. Nick. Go on, Nick. Phone a friend, Nick.
It isn't mermaids, is it? It might be completely the wrong year.
I think it's a bit early for mermaids. But anyway, you've used one of your phone a friends. Let's continue on. Who played Police Chief Martin Brody in the 1978 film Jaws 2? You can probably talk to the chat room. We can probably allow that. They might be your friends. Oh well, I hope so. Yeah. Well, let's see what the chat room is saying. They may have known the answer to the previous one. He said blow. No, they didn't know the answer to that other one. Right. What was it? What was he again? I must admit that. Oh, Roy Schneider. I thought he was in the first one. Is he in both?
They're talking about the first one, aren't they?
No, the question was, well, they might be talking about it, but the question was about Jaws 2. Maybe we can say that. Do you want to say that? I'll say that. All right. So, question 5. Who played the title role in the 1977 film Annie Hall? Annie Hall? Can we phone you, Paul? I guess you could phone me, because I don't know the answers yet. Or we'll phone you then. Well, I'd say Diane Keaton. Is that the right person? Diane Keaton? It's not Diane Keaton. You can have that. Yes, we'll take that as the answer, Paul. Okay. I mean, I'm supposed to know about Woody Allen films. Question 6. What is the title of late actor Steve McQueen's last film? So Diane Keaton is Toppy confirms, yes. Diane. Articus says Diane Weiss, but I don't think that's right. Toppy Smelly thinks it's the Something Club. But I don't think. I don't think he knows what the word is, where something is. What did I just say? What? I don't know. What are you saying? Steve McQueen's last film. Can we say? Do you want to say? No, I can't give you the answer. You haven't asked me. Oh, it's getting very confusing, Paul. Are you trying to tell me it's the Tower in Inferno? I don't know. I don't know if that's the answer. Oh, blimey. Let's just say the Towering Inferno. Right, keep going. What is the title of the 2001 film in which Russell Crowe plays mathematician John Nash? Oh, is it like the thing? Please, chat room. Do you know the Russell Crowe film where he plays the mathematician? I did see it at the cinema, but I don't think I can remember it either. Chat show, please ask. I mean, chat show, please help. The Hunter.
Yeah.
That was probably the previous. Yeah. Do you want? We asked. Oh, the good wife, the beautiful mind. Says Adam. The beautiful mind. Now I think Adam's got it right. That sounds right. Okay, we'll go for that. Okay, let's go for that. So, question 8. George Clooney, Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer have all played which fictional character on film? Oh, I know this one. It's Batman. Okay, right. 2 more questions. Question 9. Which Disney film had the tagline, "One great, big, wonderful motion picture, The Little Mermaid, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 101 Dalmatians," or Mulan? Chat room. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't dictate. Do you want to ask the chat room? Yes, let's ask the chat room. Okay. Chat room, do you know which of those films had the tagline, "One great, big, wonderful motion picture, The Little Mermaid, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 101 Dalmatians," or Mulan? You've got 20 seconds to give your vote. 101 Dalmatians, says Toppy. Do you want to go with Toppy? He's a wise man. Oh, yes, we should go. Toppy, we'll go for the 101 Dalmatians. Right. We've got one last question, and then I'll find the results for you. In the Harry Potter series of books, what make and model is the Weasley family's flying car? Let's ask the chat room. They're better than Nick.
You haven't bloody asked me anything.
We did ask you one.
I knew. He hadn't asked me about the ones I knew.
Oh, well, we didn't know which ones you knew.
Well, I wasn't allowed to tell you.
I know, exactly. It's very complicated, this quiz. I don't know that Nick knows a lot about Harry Potter, to be fair. Shake your head if you know lots about Harry Potter. He doesn't know about lots about. Ask the chat room. You see, it's like I know you. It's like I know you. Right, Ford Anglia, says Artie Cruiser. Leads them astray again, says Toppy Smelly. No, I think you're right. George in Atlanta says it's Little Mermaid, but it's too late now. Yes, go with what Artie Cruiser says. He knows about cars. Oh yes, we'll go for Ford Anglia then. Yes, right. Let's get some answers. Oh, it's been a very good. Thank goodness it was only 10 questions. Yes, I know. It's. I'm just going to press show answers before I lose the page. There. Oh no, I don't think you thought about this question. Did you realise that this question about Sophia Loren? It said which film producer? I don't think. What did they say? Pink Panther man. Who's his name? What's Nick? What's Pink Panther man's name?
Well, Peter Sellers.
Peter Sellers. Yeah. Peter Sellers wasn't a film producer. Well, we got it wrong.
But I think Sellers was interested in him.
But I thought Sophia... yes.
Sophia wasn't interested in him.
Well, the answer is Carlo Ponti. Oh, well, we did not know. The yodeling cowgirl is Jessie. That's 1 point. Oh, thank goodness we got one right. The 1984 film with Bob Hoskins as the owner of a club. Toppy got the bit either side. It's the Cotton Club. But you guys don't get any points for that. Apparently, the police chief in Jaws 2 was played by Roy Schneider again. Oh well, we got that right. We got that right, did we not? Yeah, I think we went with that. Diane Keaton did indeed play Annie Hall. Oh, we got that right too. Wonderful, great. The title of it's a shame that we weren't looking in the right place at the time. The last film by Steve McQueen was The Hunter. We saw that in the chat room.
I knew that. I could have told you that, guys.
Oh well, I've never even heard of the film. I didn't even know it was a big film. Right. But not that it's me that it was up to these guys. They had the choice to talk to you, but they chose the wrong choice. They chose to ask me, and I got the wrong answer. Anyway, the 2001 film with Russell Crowe about the mathematician was indeed A Beautiful Mind. We took that from the chat room, and that was right. And Batman, George Clooney, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that was right. 101 Dalmatians, that was right. And Ford Anglia, that was right. Oh, marvellous. We got lots right. Oh, well, that's more by luck than judgment. And for a great deal of help from the chat room. And, and you'd have got even more if you'd have asked Nick rather than me. Yeah, how dare you ask me? I'm incompetent. So we have got Jessie, 1 point. Roy Schneider, 2 points. Diane Keaton, 3 points. Beautiful Mind, 4 points. Batman, 5 points. 101, 6. 7 out of 10. That was pretty good, considering that we're all having nervous breakdowns right this minute. So we've got 2 more editions to discuss. We'll do it like we did before. Mm-hmm. Now, whoever has the lowest number can be the first to start. I've got number 23.
Right. I've got number 30.
Okay. Well, my edition is from the 3rd of June 1978, and it's Charlie's Angels one, but it's that's what would it have been? What season would we have been on the second season by? Who's that? That's not.
Cheryl Ladd, isn't it?
That's Cheryl Ladd. That's not. Yeah, I was going to say it's not first season. I just wasn't sure, kind of, whether we got shows like this. How much lag there was.
Or lad.
Yeah, but I know because the first season was only 77, so I wasn't sure whether we would have got.
I thought it started in 76.
Oh, maybe it did. I get confused with pilots and things like that. Perhaps June 78 was around the time of the end of the second season in America. If it's gone from first season 76 to 77, second season, but then we probably did get it a little bit later. But yes, it's a rather disconcerting image of the second lineup of Charlie's Angels, with Benny Hill popping out as the fourth member.
You can just imagine him running around after them at his high
Charlie's
speed.
Angels would have been very different with Benny Hill as.
Well, yeah, he would have loved it. He'd run around with them at high speed.
So we've got Benny Hill, we've got the Bee Gees.
Bits of their clothing probably falling off.
Yeah, we've got the Bee Gees colour feature, which I don't think probably. Well, it might still be here. There's a new album. Got an advert for the Looking Summer Extra magazine. And Benny Hill again. He or a relative, a cousin James, is playing cricket. So it's a cricket themed strip. It looks quite violent, actually. But although he ends up in a hospital with a rather voluptuous looking nurse, but pretty standard Benny Hill. so Nick, tell us about your.
Well, this I pulled out this one deliberately because it gives me a warm fuzzy feeling. It was the 22nd of July 78. I would have started. This cover always reminds me of the beginning of the summer holidays, repeat of Doctor Who story Invisible Enemy on the telly, and just general summer hijinks, which I loved so much. And there's a lovely picture of the famous five. We've got the updated 70s version of Enid Blyton's famous book. So on the front cover we've got them all and the doggy in the middle. How far are you going up to page?
Just to the end of that of your Benny Hill.
Up to our bed. Rotoplane. There's a little thingy in the inside as to how you can buy a cheap thing you could probably make out of matchsticks if you really wanted to. We're going to over in Italy for cousin Stan. Lots of spaghetti, lots of fat women, and yes, and a rather voluptuous one at the end. So good old Benny. So yes, he's still up to his tricks.
Now I've got quite an interesting Stu Potts news desk. It's the results of the Star Award winners. I don't think we've we might have talked about a previous year, but not this year. So I can tell you the winners of the top comedy light entertainment program was Runaround, top TV personality Richard O'Sullivan. Now, you might be able to advise me here. Was Richard O'Sullivan would have been known for what at this point?
He hadn't primarily. He would have had Man. I was going to say Man Atlantis. Man About the House under his belt, but he'd be slap bang in the middle of Robin's Nest at the time.
Yeah, so not typically children-related program.
No, but Dick Turpin was only a year away. It hadn't started yet. I think it must have been quite reassuring to the producers of Dick Turpin that he just won an award.
So considering this magazine is for, I guess it's for quite a wide range of into teens and stuff, but yeah, so it's the shows that are winning aren't necessarily 100% like kids TV programs.
No, not at all.
Family programs.
Some of the programs. They weren't. How the Westerns one wasn't a kids program. Neither was Bionic Man. Obviously, it had fantasy overtones, but
the top family program is Mind Your Language, which would be a program of a problematic nature these days.
Yes.
Top TV sports star was Barry Sheen. He was a motor racing person. I don't know if that's quite the right term, but yeah, he rode motorcycles. professionally for sport.
He got so replaced by mechanical bits. I used to call him Barry Machine.
Top TV personality. Now, again, this is not a kids program. I mean, you wouldn't really say. I don't even know that. I mean, I know you used to watch it, Nick, but it's not really a. I wouldn't even say it's a family program. It's more of just 100% adult program, which kids might have watched because they're parents.
What is it?
Well, Joanna Lumley is the winner, so that's got to be from the Avengers.
New Avengers, yeah. I mean,
New Avengers.
It had finished by then, but the previous autumn it had been on with series 2. But I mean, I suppose it was one of those things. I mean, it was quite an adult program. I think there was talk at some point of them having a New Avengers picture strip, which would have been quite fun. But yeah, I mean, I was 9 when this came out, and I've never missed a New Avengers. I thought them, they're great. So I think they had the savvy to realise that a lot of kids watched adult programs, which indeed they did.
Top music program was Get It Together. I've never heard of that show. That was like the man from Schwaddy, but it might just be he has the same haircut.
Sorry, which one am I looking at?
That one. He looks like the guy.
Yeah, that's Roy North.
Oh, is it? Oh, I don't know who's that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, from Mr. Basil Brush.
From Basil Brush. That might be why. Top drama program is The Ghosts of Motley Hall, which was it wasn't a scary ghost. It was
that definitely was for kids. Yeah.
Top general magazine program is Magpie. This is from that's Tommy Boyd. I recognise him from doing stuff in the 80s.
Yes.
I don't think I even knew he was in Magpie though. But and now
latter Magpie.
And then top TV pop stars is Brotherhood of Man, who, for those who don't know, Brotherhood of Man are sort of like a UK cut price ABBA, who also won Eurovision in 1976 with Safer Kisses for Me. They did have a bit of a tendency to do songs with rather cheesy twists, well, at least one or two, but like you'd think they were talking about a woman, but it turned out they were singing about a dog and things like that.
Also, I think what was interesting is they've been around for some time when ABBA came out, but as soon as ABBA hit, they actually, what put them on the map was when they started sort of possibly, one might say imitating. They started kind of emulating. That's the word.
I guess for them, I think their hits were drying up by 78. For them to be, they also have special.
Figaro.
Yeah, they have special award. The top record is Figaro. They were possibly doing sort of maybe not as albums. So I don't think anybody knows a Brotherhood of Man album, but other than Brotherhood of Man. But ABBA were still really big. But they did go through a phase around this time when they were having top 10 hits, but they had a bit of a, although they did have Take a Chance on Me was 78 over here, wasn't it? I think. So yeah, I don't really. It's a lucky win, I think, for Brotherhood of Man compared to all the other bands that were around in 78, but it wouldn't last much longer. What else have you got? Have you got your?
I have Stew Pot. Yes, there's advertising a Mr. Men fun pack. Nothing quite as exciting as the Star Awards. Pen pals. Janine O'Gorman, who's 133. They must be desperate for a friend by then. And a radio in the shape of a Wimpy burger, which I think, although I wasn't sort of reckless enough to want one, I was kind of, I think probably kind of amused me a little bit at the time. Yeah.
I've also, Supot gets a little bit more space in my version because of all that awards. There's a couple of books about the history of TV. There's a book about looking back at popular entertainers from 1901 to 1939, which even in 1978 would have seemed like a very long time ago.
Yeah.
There's also a book about John Logie Baird and television, and a hit movie called Skateboard, which I don't think I've ever heard of. There's a word search, and I think depending on what your magazine looks like, I've got sport next.
Uh-huh.
Have you? What have you got?
No,
sport?
I have Smurfs next.
Oh, Smurfs.
Unless they've ripped out the sport.
I'm quite happy to do that.
And I think this was the precursor to Meet the Smurfs, which is the original the picture strip that they eventually came up with. Mm-hmm. They were in the charts at the time with the Smurfing song, and there's an interview. Not an interview. There's a feature all about Father Abraham, who was. It was born in 1935, so even though he looks like an old man, he was only about 43 when this was done. Mm. And they're saying a Smurfing a London policeman. He's got a Smurf there on rods that he's trying to get a rise out of the policeman from. I remember this very well, and the whole thing. They're sort of saying they're threatening to. Upstage the Muppets in popularity, which I don't think they ever did, but they were very, very big for the time being. And I used to, about a year later, I used to collect little Smurfs, little plastic Smurfs from the garage. Once if you filled up, you've got a Smurf. Yeah.
Well, I'm skipping my football and I'm gone straight on to the $6 Million Man, but Steve's cover is blown. Sorry, what month are you in again, Nick?
I'm in July.
Oh, I'm in early June. So,
has he started the toy maker yet?
No, he's something to do with bombers and something to do with, I don't know, they look like...
wrestlers.
Wrestlers.
No, I remember that story. He poses as a wrestler, and the wrestlers have all got sort of... names like the Chunk and the Ape, and I remember that story. He goes undercover as a wrestler.
Why don't I get to see Steve in his wrestling kit? Because the guys who are the wrestlers
are a pretty ugly bunch.
Ugly bunch, and I think I'd rather see Steve.
I think earlier we were mentioning the toy maker. This is further along in the adventure. Steve has been lured into the toy maker's lair, and he's facing all these. Child toy creations that are deadly. It's got little American footballers with nerve gas balls, if you want a better word. He's prepared also, as he's met the Bionic Man before. He's got things that resist his power. Actually, there's one bit where Steve actually gets set on fire. It's actually quite discreetly done, but it's actually quite nasty.
It's really quite eye-catching and quite.
It's brilliant. I mean, Martin Asprey. I mean, he's an amazing artist.
They're not keeping to traditional like squares. If the picture needs more space, then they'll bleed the other stuff in around it.
That's right. I mean,
even on my one's like that.
Absolutely amazing. I
mean, your toy keeper is toy. What's he called?
Toy maker.
His head is kind of. Down one side of
his body, because he's a hunchback. His body's all over the place, and much more exciting. In many ways, much more exciting than the telly series. The direction in these is amazing.
Next up, I've got Young Cooks Club, and this time we're cooking sausage whirls, enough for 4. To be honest, it looks like pretty much like what we would call. If I can think of what we call it, is it? What do you think? What Christmas when you wrap bacon around sausages? What do they call it?
Pigs in blankets.
Mixed blankets. Yeah. But except that there's cheddar cheese involved. So
cheesy pigs in blankets.
I think this is something that I probably did without Looking's help when I was cooking. Probably the idea of sticking cheese and sausages and wrapping it in bacon was quite a tasty idea. I don't think it takes Delia Smith to invent this, but Delia Smith being a famous UK cook, who I don't know whether she's famous in other countries, but there's some jokes. I'm going to share with you some jokes. Smile with Stewpot. Stewpot gets the blame for this. What is an elephant's favourite TV programme? Tusky and Hutch. Oh, dear. Why don't the... no, I'm not going to read that one. That's culturally insensitive. How do you catch a monkey? Hang him upside down in a tree and make a noise like a banana. I've also got The World of Leisure, which basically looks like swing ball. Yeah, I mean we call it swing ball. It's called swing back here, where you had like a ball on a stick, and you used to call it swing ball, but they call it swing back here. You got cookery.
I got cookery with Mighty Mice.
Oh, blimey.
It would appear to be a kind of a corn. Well, looking at the ingredients, there's a kind of Cornish pasty in the shape of a mouse, which is a strange thing to sort of do. I never tried it. No, I've never been adventurous in the kitchen, but and they talk about regulos when they're cooking, and does that exist anymore? I don't think it does. And stew pot star charts, which is the like a word searchy thing.
Yeah. I've got the Man from Atlantis next. Have you got the Man from Atlantis?
No, Man from Atlantis. I think because it's the same artist, a very distinctive style. Mike Noble, I think, by the looks of it. Now he. I think, because this is a slap bang at the beginning of... So Man from Atlantis must have only lasted a few months. But, yes, this is the beginning of the
what have you got instead then?
I've got the Famous Five. They're starting with this. Yeah. Now, talking of the Famous Five, my great memory of this particular issue is a great big pull-out poster which had Pride of Place on my wall at the beaches where I lived at the time. Now, the little cheeky monkeys have actually ripped it out and stick it on their wall. And I think there was an interview with them, and, it was... So, yeah, it's all the juicy stuff's actually been ripped out. So,
well, this is the thing with these magazines, is that a lot of it was sort of... And I think even more so by the time I had it, where you had song lyrics and you had a pull-out section... My Man from Atlantis, the first page is more concerned with the girl from Citation, who looks a bit like too much like the Barnett Woman, but and then you have looks like there's witch doctors.
I remember the witch doctor one. Yeah.
Then I've got an advert for Weetabix with a sort of Superman sort of rip-off, and Star Wars toys. But these are did Star Wars toys made by Palitoy?
Well, some of them were, yes, most definitely.
And then I'm not sure if anything's been ripped out of mine, possibly, but the next strip I have is Logan's Run. And what have you got next?
I have Logan's Run. Again, this is a story I remember. It's a city of robots. I remember the robots very well. And I remember playing a game in the street with my friend, and it was within this story, so it had the robots in it. And Rem, the android that's the regular in Logan's Run, is playing a double game with the robots to help them escape.
Well, I've got Logan's Run. The runners travel in time.
The Time Machine. I remember that. Yes, with I think they go.
Because there's dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, that's right.
Yeah,
yes.
There's pterodactyls and there's some sort of man-eating plant.
That's right. I think they find the inventor of the time machine, and he's a skeleton.
I've got Jerry Anderson's Star Cruiser, Wild Dolphins, something about dolphins. Got a screen quiz. Questions such as Maggie May, You Wear It Well, and Angel were early hits for which big recording star? That's Rod Stewart. Know that answer. Some of these quizzes might be useful fodder for future quiz episodes. I'll have to test Callum on some of these. I've got one more big colour strip, but what have you got next?
I think yes. I mean, we've got Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
This time dealing with a runaway tanker. I only remember the robot story on the Star Cruiser. I can't actually remember the...
To be fair, they don't give it much space, really.
No, they don't. And
half a page.
It's been... They used the Jerry Anderson page. It used to be the Jerry Anderson page.
Mm-hmm.
There was an interview with him and Star Cruiser. Mm-hmm. Whereas by 78, well, by this point in 78, Jerry Anderson had pushed off, and they just... It's a very small... Star Cruiser. We've got a new book, a new look-in book with Stew Pot Travel fun book. And on the magazine, I think you were Bionic Woman.
Yeah, I've got Bionic Woman. It's a nice colour. It's Jamie takes a dangerous bobsled ride.
That's right. Karsh, the man with the machine that makes you see things. I remember that. And I've got a later part of the murder mystery one set in the creepy old house. So yeah, great stuff. I always extremely well drawn. Most of them actually. Yeah.
I've got a big article about the Bee Gees. Because there was a Bee Gees live album out, and it was sort of their year. There's even a picture of them. There's even a picture of them with Andy, their brother. Then I've got Doctor on the Go, 2-page black and white strip, and then just the TV.
Doctor on the Go is. He's got. I remember this story. There's a sort of visiting doctor, American doctor, who brings his brat son along, and the son sort of causes mayhem and mischief throughout.
Right. Okay. Well, I think we should probably hand over to the next show. Let me just go back into the chat room. Thank you for putting up with all of the technical problems, and thank you for helping with the quiz. At least you were able to hear it, and I'm able to help out, even though we didn't see the answers in time. Sorry, Artie Cruiser gave The Hunter as the.
He's right.
Yeah, I've never heard of that film. But anyway, that's my bad, not everybody else's bad. But yeah, I'm not sure where we are as far as whether I'm controlling the stream or where we're being broadcast at the moment. But thank you, Nick.
I gotcha.
Right. Well, we're ready to say goodbye, and thank you very much. And this edition of the show will be a little bit different when it comes out as a podcast. But thank you for.
We'll get all the questions right first time.
Yes, yeah, we'll chop that all out. But anyway, Adam's going to take us away, and. Thank you. I hope the rest of this weekend goes well, and I shall be trying to tune in as much. I'm trying to visit family and friends for the first time in 18 months, so it's a bit of a chaotic weekend. But anyway, thank you for joining us, and have a great Saturday, and enjoy all the shows. And we'll say goodbye for now. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks. Thank you, John. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the Pride guys.
Thank you, Adam, for helping us out. And,
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'll disconnect now.
Ta-ta.
Cool, bye-bye.
All right, we're off.
Cool.
Sorry about all the issues you were having, but we got you on.
Yeah, thank you.
Nick, nice to meet you.
And you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Take
Bye.
care.
We'll do another magazine which I'll add to. Did you pick one that you wanted to?
No, I didn't realise we were doing some more.
But you can sit back here because we're recording.
Okay. Will it be all right picking me up?
Yeah, because it's not because we're not on the stream anymore. It's my phone that we're contending with. So.
I'm going to go for the famous 5. I think.
Yeah.
So I had a big crush on Jennifer Thanish. So is the poster still there? I had a poster. No, the buggers have taken a poster.
Let me see. I should probably.
Bastards, yes, they've ripped it right out of the magazine.
Yeah. Well, I've got a page missing. I think they might have done the same with the ABBA one. There's ABBA dolls here.
They're real dolls, they're there.
Well, I might dip into the ABBA. I might dip into the ABBA one. So I've got. Or maybe I'll go do the. They've made John Travolta's eyes very blue, which is kind of accurate. Who's that? Oh, that's no. That's supposed to be Patrick Duffy. That's not such a good likeness.
Oh, it's not. Well,
I thought he looked like Gay Newman. But it's a bit too early for Gay Newman.
Our friend's wet.
I think I'm going to choose this one, but we will briefly talk about the ABBA one as well for extra material. I'll probably leave these ones in Salisbury, and then we can talk about, like with my parents, and then we can always talk about them another time. Right. So, as promised, we've got another edition, well, two more editions of Look In to discuss. What do you remember? Do you remember what a month or roughly which edition you? Because you have talked about a 1978 edition in another episode. Presumably not any of the ones that have popped up.
I'm just trying to remember which one we did.
It was one of those ones we did.
Was it?
One of those ones we did where we did just little nuggets where we just you just talked.
Yeah,
I think you were looking at your computer.
Because you're looking at it's one of the ones I've got on computer. As I say, at the moment, the Facebook looking group are downloading.
Don't worry, you probably recognise it. If you were doing the same one.
So I'm collecting them electronically. But no, I it's certainly not one of these.
I've got to go now. Bye. Gotta go. Bye.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye.
This show is part of the PRIDE48 network. Find more shows over at PRIDE48.com.
Oh dear, what's going on now? Oh, it's the Shy Life Podcast.
Let's go.
I have a voice. I have a voice.
You have a voice.
You have a voice. We have a voice.
We have a voice.
Unique voices in podcasting.
UnivazPods.net.
I've got them all edited together. The podcast version will be seamless. You wouldn't know that happened. It will look good. Okay. Next one will be you and Yeti Uncle John.
All right. Now, before we do that, I need clarification. I mean, I sort of got everything you said, but explain to me, like, exactly where we are. And
well, he's right. He's had 3 strikes, but I talked to Isaac and Declan and got them to sort of postpone or to sort of give him one more chance. But he had.
And it's because he's been lying or exaggerating.
And all his sort of stupid, I mean, one of the 3rd strike he got was because he thought that a mythical beast had flown into this is my most recent episode. He thought a mythical bird had flown in to live with the magpies, and he called the papers up and he was talking to the journalist and mentioned Ick and mentioned August Evans, not in, he was trying to drum up interest and we had to I had to kind of jump in and say to the journalist, no, he's lost his mind. But so his stupidity is kind of starting to possibly affect.
So do you feel like he really believes these things, or is he just flat out exaggerating and lying?
Well, he wants to be famous. And that's what he has said. it all comes down to he wants
it to be that way, and he's committed. He's committed to pretending.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with the magic. He didn't want to do all the hard work. He just wanted to get he's a famous magician, or everything he does. He loses interest if it doesn't happen overnight, sort of thing. And then the things he does tend to sort of backfire on him or affect other people. And
so I'm just trying to get more background here. So when I talk to him,
you can also say, that you can mention that. Don't you think that Paul's looking quite stressed recently, and you really ought to make it life. He's got a busy job, and he must
right.
And act to sort of
and there really is another podcast you're playing with in this.
Yes, Isaac and Declan are from that show.
And what's it called?
That's a Shame.
That's a Shame. Okay.
Shame. And the Shame Inspector thing is that they don't call themselves that on the show, but I wanted to kind of have them on the show, so I thought that would be a good way of kind of keeping the brand of their show.
Right. Okay. This is a little tough one for me, but let's try it. I think I know what you want.
You know how your Uncle John has been doing, even with them. Even if you use the magic thing as a sort of example of him, you hear that, or you can say be like a friendly older brother or whatever.
Okay. All right, that I can go with. With that.
And also, you heard that he's been in trouble, and is he okay? Or,
all right, I think I got it now. Yeah. I'm good with it. By the way, how are we're together and like we're just meeting somewhere?
Yeah, we won't worry about. It's just happening in podcast.
Yeah, it's podcast land and it happens. Okay. Okay. Why don't you give the lead?
I think that was a wonderful episode, don't you, Toppy?
I sure do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've heard that Paul's extremely nimble.
The best part of the Shy Life podcast is when it ends.
454.